Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello and welcome to this bonus episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Kristina Stidham, Digital Content Director at Total Retail, and I'm joined by Joe Keenan, Editor-in-Chief. Today we're discussing the release of Total Retail's 2022 Top 100 Omnichannel Retailers Report. So Joe, we've released this report for a couple years in a row now. Tell us why Total Retail has created the report and how the rankings are calculated.
Yeah, thanks for that introduction, Kristina. I'm excited to talk about this report from Total Retail. It's the 6th annual Top 100 Omnichannel Retailers Report. And kind of the basis of the report is that we assess 100 leading retailers. We do that in a couple different ways, a visit to one of their brick and mortar store locations, as well as a visit to their e-commerce site. And then the retailers are measured on the omnichannel programs that they offer, as well as the execution of those programs, with a particular focus around the customer experience. So we're shopping the retailer as kind of that secret shopper. And the assessment includes 8 criteria which are measured. So those include the ability for customers to buy online and pick up in store and or at curbside, the ability to search for in-store product availability on a brand's digital properties, the shared cart across channels for logged in shoppers, the ability for loyalty points to be earned and redeemed across channels, cross-channel product returns, ship from store endless aisle, pricing consistency across channels, and then lastly, mobile payments acceptance in store and including the storage of payment data within a retailer's app or mobile site. So those are the criteria that each are measured on, and then obviously the rankings are based upon who scores highest to lowest there.
Yeah, and that's a ton of really in-depth data. This is a very in-depth assessment. So after compiling all of that data, which retailers came out on top and performed the best?
Yeah, so this year our number one performer was Nordstrom. It actually earned all of the available points in the assessment. So a great example of this department store chain's commitment to omnichannel is its Nordstrom local small store format. So Nordstrom introduced this store format a couple of years ago, and it was launched to bridge the gap between the online and offline channels. It offers these small format stores offer services such as online order pickup and returns, alterations to apparel, styling help with trained associates. So some of those services that you want to go in store for, but you can also begin the customer experience online. Following right behind Nordstrom, we had a logjam at the top here. We had 4 retailers that tied for second place, and they were Ace Hardware, JCPenney, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Staples. Really what set them apart from Nordstrom and landed them in the second tier was the deductions in returns across channels. Specifically, the inability for customers to return products that were purchased in store by shipping it back to the retailer. So that's kind of a service that's still not many retailers are yet offering. And this is really critical as more product is being purchased online today. We've seen a subsequent increase in product returns. So retailers really need to zero in on that return process and optimize the experience. It's going to be a critical part of winning customers and their loyalty as well.
Yeah, that's definitely true and a great point to come out of this data. So looking at the data holistically, what are some of the other trends to emerge? What have you been seeing from the report?
Yeah, so as you can imagine, after shopping 100 retailers, we did collect a lot of data across many different categories and the criteria. So the first one I'd call out is that of all the 100 retailers evaluated, each one offered at least some form of BOPUS and or curbside pickup. However, it's important to note that just 1/5 of the retailers earned full credit for this criterion. The takeaway that I have is that offering BOPUS and or curbside pickup has become table stakes, but what our data is showing is that the customer experience for these services is still lacking in some respect. You know, only 20% earned full credit for that category. So something to think about there. The next kind of trend I would call out is that 80% of retail loyalty program members can earn and redeem points and or rewards across multiple transaction channels. So online to offline, your app, social, all these different ways that the customers are transacting with your brand. However, certain exceptions exist within several of the retailers we evaluated. So again, kind of that sort of a mixed review here. So while retailers are working to integrate their loyalty programs across channels, and that's certainly a good idea given, all the valuable first-party data that loyalty programs yield, the experience for the customer is still leaves something to be desired. So more work needs to be done there with loyalty program redemption across channels. And then the third and final trend I'll call out is looking at the overall scoring product by product category. The top performers were the retailers that were in the office supplies and department store segments, Nordstrom being at the top of that one. And then conversely, at the bottom of the category rankings were the retailers that were in the jewelry sector.
Yeah, so as you're mentioning all of these different trends that you're looking at, it's definitely clear that retailers have made big jumps in omnichannel offerings, but there's still a long ways to go for everybody to reach Nordstrom's level. In addition to the data that you've already cited, why should our listeners check out this year's Top 100 Omnichannel Retailers Report?
Yeah, so I think when we launched this close to 7 years ago, omnichannel was really kind of a new term. It was kind of a new way of operating as a retail business. That's no longer the case. Omnichannel is essential. It's table stakes. We've kind of talked about that. So this report offers valuable benchmark data on omnichannel operations across a multitude of functional areas. So things such as inventory, order fulfillment, payments, pricing your merchandise. And this data that we've collected enables merchants to measure themselves against their competitors, specifically within their product category. We've broken down the data by product category, as well as kind of the leading organizations across the industry, and that doesn't even have to be within your product category. The report also should serve as a prompt to conduct a self-audit of your company's omnichannel capabilities. So one, identifying areas of strength, which then can be leaned into to help differentiate yourself in a crowded, competitive market. And then also looking at your areas of weakness and how they can potentially be improved upon. So, and then lastly, I think future retail success is going to depend in large part on meeting and then sometimes even exceeding our customers' expectations for these frictionless omnichannel experiences. Again, it's no longer a nice to have, it's an expectation from customers, so you really need to rise to that level.
And if you're an executive who's looking to check out the competition, see what they're offering and where they're ranking, and then benchmark your own organization to see where you can improve, this report is definitely for you. To see the full rankings, as well as profiles of the top performers and analysis of the data, you can access the 2022 Top 100 Omnichannel Retailers Report via the link in our show notes, as well as by going to mytotalretail.com/resources. Thanks for listening to this episode of Total Retail Talks.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.